Okay, Torah concept in the New Testament, think on things that are lovely. Okay, so notice how the word lovely in Philippians 4:8 is the least obvious word in Paul's list, yet it has surprisingly deep roots in the Torah once you understand what Paul means. Paul uses the Greek word prosphilē, meaning that which calls forth love, that which is pleasing or admirable or beautiful in the eyes of God. Okay, so the Torah parallels here to think on things lovely is one, the Torah's call to love what God loves. So the Torah repeatedly commands Israel to set their affection on what God finds beautiful. We read this in the Shema, in Deuteronomy chapter 6, and in chapter 10 and chapter 11. Okay, two, the Torah's vision of God's commands as beautiful and delightful. The Torah does not present God's commands as burdens, but as beautiful, as life-giving, as desirable. Okay, so we find this in Deuteronomy chapter 4 and chapter 30 and chapter 32. Okay, three, the Torah's emphasis on the beauty of holiness. Holiness in the Torah is not merely moral, it is beautiful, set apart, it is attractive. Okay, Exodus 28, Leviticus 19, Numbers chapter 6. Four, the Torah's celebration of God's goodness and his compassion. What God does is lovely. His mercy, his faithfulness, his covenant love for us. Okay, Exodus 34, Deuteronomy chapter 7 and chapter 32 are examples of that. Five, the Torah's call to delight in God's blessing. The Torah repeatedly commands Israel to rejoice, celebrate, and delight in God's goodness, which is exactly the mental posture that Paul is describing here. We read this in Deuteronomy chapter 12, chapter 26 and chapter 16. Okay, six, the Torah's vision of creation as beautiful and good. Paul's category of lovely includes the beauty of God's creation, a theme that begins in Genesis chapter 1, chapter 2. And so the context here is that the Torah shapes Paul's understanding on thinking on those things that are lovely. Okay, and the Torah themes are that love what God loves. God's commands are beautiful and admirable. Holiness is beautiful. God's character is lovely. God's blessings are delightful. Creation is good and pleasing. Covenant love is attractive and worthy of affection. So the core insight here is that Paul's lovely is a direct continuation of the Torah's call to delight in the beauty of God, in his ways, in his works, and in his world, in his creation, right? And again, this is how Paul taught Torah in the New Testament. The Torah has not passed away.